I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, I'm going to take you on a tour of the Pixel Perfect editor. I'm going to start at the top right-hand side, and you'll see that there are several different menu items, and we'll go through each item to discuss what they do. The first item is the Save button. When you click this, it's going to actually save your website, so any changes that you've made are going to be saved to the servers, and if your website is public, the public will see the changes. So if that's what you really want to do, just click the Save button, and then all changes are actually saved. So that's one of the most important buttons that you're going to use inside of your editor. And remember, save is your friend. The next one is the Preview button. So if you want to look at what your website is looking like, you can click Preview, and you can get a good idea of what your website looks like. Also remember that Preview is a little limited because there are some features that don't really show on the preview. So you always want to make sure that you're looking at your live website on the internet as well. And that will show you a little bit better picture of what your website is really looking like, especially if there's any dynamic effects or anything that is beyond just a flat website. So preview is good, but the live website is actually better. Then you've got another button that is grid lines. And if you click that, you can see right here, there's some grid lines that you can see right on the side. This one's hard to see because of the color of the site. But when you click that button, it makes them appear, and you click it again, it makes it disappear. And those grid lines, you want to make sure that your main content, the things that you definitely want your user to see, stays inside of those grid lines, because that's what's going to appear on every device. Now, there may be some devices that go beyond those grid lines, but no devices are going to go inside the grid lines and chop off stuff. So those grid lines are the exact size of what the screen's going to look like, and you want to make sure that everything you want your user to see is inside those grid lines. The next one is the ruler, and if I click that, you can see that I turned my ruler off. If I click it again, it'll turn it back on. The ruler is great because it gives me an idea of how big something is, and it also enables me to kind of measure things across the vertical and horizontal axis of my website. And I can also click right on the ruler, and I can create some guidelines, and that'll help me line things up. This is also a snap to guideline, so when you bring something to it, it will actually snap to it really quickly, and it makes it way easy to line things up. If you want to do a horizontal guideline, you just click on the horizontal ruler and it creates a horizontal guideline. Once you're done with your guidelines, you just right-click them and they disappear. And you right-click the next one and it disappears. So super easy to line things up and make your website aesthetically pleasing. If you want to get rid of your grid lines and your rulers, just click ruler and click grid line, and those lines and the ruler go away. I always like to keep my grid lines on there because I want to make sure that I'm staying within those lines for my user. The next one are the two buttons undo and redo. If you want to undo an action that you just did, click undo. If you undo something and then you realize you want it back, just click redo and it will put it back. The next button is the Show Hidden Elements. When you click that, it doesn't have anything in it, but if you wanted to hide an element, I would right-click it, and all the way down at the bottom, there's an eyeball with a slash on it. If I click that, that logo goes away. It's actually still a part of the website. It's still in the website, but the user's not going to be able to see it. This is a great way to kind of move stuff out of the way while you're building a website. And then you can bring it back quickly by going back to that eyeball, and there's our hidden object. If you want to just take a look at it, you can click on it and it'll preview it. And then if you want it to return, you just click the little return button and it will put it right back in the same place that it was. So this is a great way to hide things and move things out of the way so you can work in layers and then put them right back. So that is the hidden item feature. The next one is the light bulb, and this is the backlight. And if you're working on a site that you need to be able to kind of see it a little bit better, maybe there's a lot of white and it's really, really bright and hard to see, you can click that button and it will kind of darken things up a little bit so you can see it better. And then the next button is change the border. When you click that, you can see the border around the website right here. Do you see how it's green right now? If I click it again, it makes it yellow. If I click it again, it makes it white. The reason that you do that is because sometimes with the design of your website, it's very, very difficult to see the borders because the borders are matching the colors of your website. So you may want to change the look of them so you can see the border better. So as you can see right here on Member Bytes, the border is actually white. I can see that well. If I click this button again, the border becomes green and I can see it actually a little bit better. So this is a way to help you see the borders of the items on your website. Now I'm going to move over to this menu right here. This is a menu that allows you to work on the different views of your website. So right now I'm working on the desktop view. If I wanted to work on the tablet view, I just click the tablet. And now I'm working on the tablet view of this website. And the next thing I could choose is to work on the smartphone or mobile view. And it gives me an image of what the mobile view looks like. The next thing is the wrench. The wrench actually allows you to adjust items on your view to match what's on the desktop. You can click that to set up your view quickly and then kind of move things around to where you want them. So the wrench is just a fast way of moving things into your tablet view or mobile view, and then you can adjust them the way you want them. The next item I want to look at is in desktop view, and that is this 1240 pixels by 940 pixels. If you'll notice when I turn on my grid lines right here, that's where the grid lines are. If I click this button, so it goes from this to this, you see the grid lines going closer. That's going to be 940 pixels. That's a smaller width of my desktop. I could choose to work inside of the 940 pixels and keep everything inside those grid lines, or because there's larger monitors out there and larger laptops out there, you can go to the 1240 pixels, and that will create a wider distance between the grids and a bigger viewing area for your user. So you can switch between the two. I like to keep it at 1240 because it's just a wider screen and you get a lot more area to put your content in. The next thing I want to show you is the drop-down box right here. This allows you to switch between pages very quickly. So if you click the drop-down box, you can see all the pages in this website. And to be able to click to the next page, all I do is click the page that I want to go to. So I'm going to click About Us. And now you can see that the page has changed. And if I want to go back to the home page, I just click that down arrow again, and I can go back to the home page. Now I'm going to go to the left-hand side, and we'll talk about this menu. The first item on this menu is the page menu. So if I click it, it's going to take me to the layouts that I have in this website. And then for each layout, I can click the arrow, and I can see all of the pages inside of each layout. So you're going to be able to see the layouts and the pages. And then within each layout and each page, you're going to have settings that you can work with. So right here, we're in the layout area. So these are the settings that we can change for the layout area. If I go to the pages, I can click the gear, and that will take me to the page settings for that particular page. So we have a lot of features that are available to set up in the layout and in each individual page. The next item is the text item, and this is where you can customize the fonts. And if you click these items and make any changes, this is like changing your CSS file. So every time you grab a title XL and put it on your website, it will look like this. This is really important because it creates consistency across your entire website, and you won't have a whole bunch of different fonts showing up, which kind of confuses the user. So you can go in and actually click on this and change it to anything you want, and then every time you grab that title XL, it will have that same exact design throughout the website. That makes your website very, very consistent and a lot easier to view for your user. The next item we're going to go into is the plus sign. This is the area that you'll go into the most. And when you click it, you'll see that there's a lot of different elements that you can choose to add to your website, including adding a pop-up, adding text to your website. And remember, if you grab the text, the settings for that text is in the item above it, the T for text. So you set what kind of font you want to use first, and then you grab the text element to add that text to your website. There's also banners, boxes and lines, buttons, images, an image gallery. You can add menus to your website like this right here. You can add audio and video files to your website. You can add social media elements to your website. You can add a contact form, an email form. You can add animated counters and additional apps. We'll go through those in just a second. There are hover elements, timers, checkout systems, sales funnels, and even a blog app. Now let's take a look at the apps, because there's several different apps you can add as well. So if I click on apps, I can choose to add a PayPal button, HTML code to my website. So if you already have some prepared HTML code, you can add that right here. You can add the webinar element, and Builderall has a webinar platform, and you can add that right into your website. There's an e-learning platform that you can add into your website. There's a GDPR app to make sure that your website is GDPR compliant. You can also create anchors throughout your website and then attach the menus to anchors. You can add a review system. You can add Shopify information, and you can add open table reservation system. So lots of different things in that plus sign, lots of different elements that you can add to your website. The next item on the menu is a double gear. If you click on that, you've got a lot of different settings for your website, including GDPR configuration, the language that your app is in, a site map, platform settings, restricted area settings if you're going to set up a membership area, user management if you're going to have people register to access either a membership area or you're selling them things through your website. You can manage your user registration fields. This is where you can add additional fields when you're collecting information from people, including a physical mailing address if you're selling a physical product. Coupons, if you're going to be offering coupons, this is where you configure them. And then action counters, this is where you'll manage your action counters when you set up click analytics. The next item is the shopping bag. This is the area that you'll set up your purchasing information if you're setting up a product or a service that your visitors will purchase. So when you click the shopping bag, there's several different areas, including setting up your payment manager, setting up your offer, whether it's a service or a product, your sales manager, which is where you can take a look at who bought what. You can also manage your automated email sequence, including emails that go out informing the person of their purchase. And you can manage external platform email, including Mailing Boss. And this is where you set up your sales funnel system, including any upsells and downsells that you may have included in your sales funnel. Along with the shopping bag information, you've also got an icon for a blog. If you want to add a blog to your Pixel Perfect website, you just click the last icon and you can click Add Blog, and it will add a blog to your website. And then along with the pages that it adds, it will add the functionality to be able to manage your blog and do some very special things with that blog once it's installed. So that's a quick tour of the Pixel Perfect editor in Builderall.